Our time check is 13:12, and a lovely good afternoon to the listeners out there, and welcome to the powerful show and an insightful show, the mental health therapy, the show that talks about spreading mental health awareness. And I'm your host Cyprian, and today I have a very powerful guest joining me, to discuss this interesting and powerful topic at hand. And as usual on this show, I always love the guests to introduce themselves and say, it's a rule on this show. So I'll start with you, boss.
All right. Thank you so much, Cyprian. It's an honor to be here, and thank you so much for inviting me to be part of the show. Indeed, it's interesting to discuss issues that are affecting us as human beings, particularly looking at the month of June as we look at the Mental Health Awareness Month. It's an honor to be a part of the show. Once again, thanks.
Okay. I think maybe an introduction.
Yeah, better.
I'm Robert Musukwa. I think this is a very interesting topic for me, especially that it's something that of late I've been finding is close to heart. So it's a pleasure, and I hope that we can, in a way, help at least change one or two people as we'll be concluding.
So now to kickstart the show, let's go deep into the topic at hand, which is the crucial role of socializing. And at the same time, also, I'm going to touch briefly on social networking in personal development. I love the fact that Mr. Mali mentioned to say June is a mental health awareness, which I think this topic is going to also, touch on main topic, talking about certain issues. I think it's important that you put that point. That's the duty of the show, the mental health therapy. You allow the guests to be free. So now to just summarize to give a brief summary of the topic at hand. What are we talking about? We're talking about the crucial role of socializing as men. How is that important for men to sit down and talk about issues which are affecting them, and also issues which can, solutions which can offer to their problems. At the end of the day, we see a situation whereby the personal development is going to happen at the end of the day. And how also social networking can play a role. And at the end of the day, once someone has developed that confidence to do something in life, how can they brand themselves out there to make other men appreciate the beauty of socializing at the end of the day? And let's just go in deep into the topic at hand. Already established mental health. There's no need of going there at the end of the day. Terrifying catastrophe. So let's go deep into the factors which lead to men, having mental health breakdowns. But I don't know if before we touch on the importance of socializing, how men can appreciate socializing. Brief factors which affect men.
All right, super. Let me maybe check that.
Yeah.
I know we've already talked about issues of mental health, but I'm pretty sure that it's important to give context before we get into what we're looking at. I think there's a lot of stigma that attaches to issues to do with mental health, and I think primarily it's an issue of lack of understanding of what is being talked about when you talk about mental health. All right, it's often associated to someone going mad. That negative stigma that attaches to that. But it's important to note that everyone, regardless of what your status is, your environment is, you have things that you struggle with. You have stimuli from the environment that is not received the way it should be received by your mind or yourself. All right. So the same way the human body is expected to be physically fit, you work out, you do that. The mind must also be able to cope with certain stimuli and be able to put you in the right state of mind. So we often feel this is not an issue that I can talk about, or this is an issue that I can deal with on my own. So you end up having mental breakdowns, you end up having serious certain disorders. Some people end up becoming bipolar because of thinking they can take on so much without realizing that certain things actually need to be dealt with, and they can be dealt with in various ways. Working out is one of them. Interacting with different people is one of them. Talking about it with experts is another way of dealing with mental health. So I think it's as a starting point, it's important to first of all remove the stigma that is attached to that, and the male folk is very guilty of that because we rarely come out. We don't talk about these things. We want to act macho over situations like this, and it's an issue of perception. I don't know if it's also an issue of cultural expectations. So you often try to take on so much on your own, and you end up failing to deal with the real issues that you're able to deal with. So you find that you struggle to cope with the environment or the things around you. Yeah, just to give context before we get into.
And like I said, the beauty of the show, you allow the guests to feel free. I love that point, Mr. Super.
Oh yeah. So maybe just to add on, you see, I think most of the times mental breakdown, the major factors, you will notice. I think trauma being one of those. Abuse, accident, maybe someone went through an accident that they've not recovered from, or maybe a loss of someone very dear, very close to them. You see, that leads someone in a certain state where they do need people to talk to for them to actually get over that breakdown that they're having. You see, society has it, you see, that for instance, for men, that every man is responsible for his own mental health. Okay, if a man tries to express himself, or if he's going through something, he'll be called weak. You see, so with those factors, that's what hinders most of us men to actually reach out. Okay, so yes, I think the other factor might be stress from work. You see, there are people I've seen very happy coming for work, but then at the back of their head, this guy is going through something that is very serious and cannot share with a workmate, because we have it that at work, your workmates are just colleagues; they're not your friends. You see, so that you actually choose not to share, and that's one thing that really contributes to that breakdown. You see.
Thank you for those powerful points. I love the way you have touched on giving context to the content to the topic at hand, and the areas we're going to cover in the show. And I love the points you have mentioned, Bob, there. I wanted to go at Bob's corner. In the corner already. Mr. Bado, I have to get your views. Since now we have looked at the factors which affect men's mental health briefly. And also let's look at now the importance of socializing. Just briefly on socializing, the importance of it.
Okay. Thank you, Cyprian. By nature, we are social beings. And if I take you back to the times of COVID, that was 2020.
Yeah.
And we had all these lockdowns. You're not allowed to go out. You can almost you can remember what the situation was like. We are not beings that are confined to keep to ourselves. We are wired that way. We socialize, and that is how we cope with the environment that we are in. So the same way, when we're looking at issues to do with stress, mental disorders, we must realize that we are humans and we are social beings. And because of that, we cannot delete the social aspect to our lives in adapting to environment, to the various environments that we're exposed to, and the stimuli in those environments.
Yeah.
So, truth be told, whether at an institution like this, UNZA, you are exposed to so much pressure from your academics, your various deadlines, coursework, assignments, exams. In a different setup, in a work environment, you also have your deadlines. You have your pressures that come from your supervisors, expected to complete certain tasks. All right. So you have a build-up of stress, and that stress must be managed. because the failure to manage that stress is that what makes people break down. Burnout is real, and the failure to handle burnout and stress can kill you. In trying to give context earlier, I talked about how the stigma, and when you talk about mental health issues, you associated with people going mad and all that. But the truth is, the failure to handle stress, the failure to handle your mental health situations around you can actually lead you to that. And by nature, and the fact that we're social beings, our socializing and interacting with different people in different setups, it can be a face-to-face interaction, it can be via online platforms, is a way of coping with the situations that we're faced with, to deal with our stress. It's important for every being. It's not cast in stone that this is the one particular way that you should deal with the situation. So you need to find what works with you and works for you, rather. Write your song and sing it very well. It's your song after all, because at the end of the day, you're the one that is going to benefit from it. All right. So in trying to link socializing with mental health, I think it's socializing is just a way of trying to help you manage or cope with the situation and balance it out. I think it's very important for you to strike a balance between the situation that you're handling and your mental state in that particular situation.
I've loved that point, and you have touched on. Namna isho isuma sana. Umuntu nasira kwesheta kwipishi. I love that. It shows that such topics are very important. At the end of the day, men out there need to understand that the value of people having a sit down like this is not meant to attack them. It's meant to show them that it's important for them to also appreciate the importance of socializing at the end of the day.
Very true.
The right socialization is important to also focus on. Because if you find a situation whereby someone, in the name of socializing, finds the wrong shape, are you going to develop it that way?
Actually, I like what you just said. You see, there is a saying: show me your friends, and I'll tell you who you are. Okay, and then with that in mind, I'll tell you. I had this boss of mine that always told me one key element about the social network. Okay, he always said your social network is your net worth. All right, it's through that social network that you will discover yourself. Okay, it's through that social network that you will get to get the support you need, the encouragement you need. You see, so for me, socializing is very important for any human being. Okay, yes, mental stress. Most people, or today, would like to say, "Oh, we're looking at the mental state of maybe a man, because I'm a man, right?" But then mental stress, the mental health issue is on both genders actually go through it. You see, so you need to make sure you're in a circle where you find it safe to share. All right, you find it safe knowing that I can say anything and no one will judge me. You see, that's what will help build you. That's what will help guide you. You see, so it's very important that we socialize, because that's the only way we actually get to where we want to be in life.
I've loved that point. Nakakote cover boss. We love such. Mr. Boy, I want you to touch on striking a balance. I know you mentioned earlier on, but I want you to expand briefly on striking a balance in order to cope with issues which men especially.
Okay.
In that sense.
Okay. Yeah, I think striking a balance is very important. It's common for us as human beings to carry a situation from one environment to another. Maybe for people that are in a working setup, you have a situation at home and you take it to the work environment, and you project your stress, your situation at home on other people. So you affect the environment that is innocent or independent of the situation that you're currently going through. that's primarily because that issue that you came with from home was not dealt with. Or you pick an issue from work and you take it back home because the issue from work was not dealt with. And without realizing, you start seeing fault in other people. Any small thing makes you snap. any
alisavu komuntu by date
abukafe n'amatemba
you know what I mean?
alishoka komuntu
And it's funny because a lot of situations have been left unattended to.
yeah.
Okay, so you don't get to realize that, and you now start to deal with symptoms and not the real issues. All right, and just like I indicated, we're wired that way as men. We want to carry on so much and feel like you can deal with this, and you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to face reality and just see that this is what is causing B. You understand? So when you fail to strike a balance, everything else gets affected. So it's important to strike a balance between your different activities and also to have a balance within you. That is why it's always good to now establish how best to deal with different situations, how best to cope with whatever stressful environments, stressful situations that you are faced with. So failure to strike a balance will now be an issue that we're talking about here. You start talking about mental breakdowns because you did not acknowledge that the situation is what it is and the situation is real. So you now just go by it and ignore it as if it's not reality, it's not existing. And you want to move on to deal with other things that are independent of the issue that is causing you stress, causing you to project differently on different people. And without realizing it, you are affecting your relationships with those people because you did not strike a balance. You did not realize, did not acknowledge the situation that is giving you that stress or those breakdowns that you're going through.